Hello, hello. It's Tunnel Snakes Fool here, and today is the day that I finally rank all of the Fallout 4 major and minor factions. It's something I wanted to do for a bit, and I particularly want to do today because I'm feeling a little loopy. So without further ado, let's get into it. And you might be wondering, Nikki, why are you feeling a little loopy today, and why is this the content you choose to make when feeling a little loopy? This stuff is easy content to make. I have a deep dive planned on the Survivor 2299 hoax that happened in before Fallout 4, but I don't have enough executive function right now to do it. And if you're wondering why I'm feeling a little loopy, it's because the American healthcare system has once again failed me, and I have not been able to get my normal prescription that I need since I had cancer refilled. It's just I haven't had the medication for like 4 or 5 days, and I don't feel good. Nothing like threatening to my well-being other than the fact that I just don't feel like I normally feel. I feel off. So I'm going to do this because I'm in a silly mood, and I think these kind of things are fun to do when you're in a silly mood, and also maybe brain not all the way there, and you might find it interesting to watch me struggle to recall certain things or just be goofy. So yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. What a great way to celebrate National Cancer Survivors Day, which was yesterday. If you're tuning in on June 5th, what a great way to celebrate by not having access to my medication. So I'm going to also do a bit of explanation of these different factions, talk about them, my takes on them, obviously, as I go through ranking this. So if you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And, go to the doctor, because cancer is treatable when caught, usually. I mean, statistically speaking. Caught early, caught often. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so I had to go onto the Fallout Wiki to collect all these pictures. No shade to the Fallout Wiki. I do use it to double check certain things and gather pictures from the Fallout games for like memes and things like that. But the website is laggy for some reason since they got bought by fandom, and it's not my favorite place because of it. Sorry, don't at me if you work on the Fallout Wiki. I have no beef with you. The website doesn't always work for me on my computer for whatever reason. I think it's more to do with fandom than the wiki. Anyway, so this is the Cabot family. I just chose a picture of their house to represent the faction. I think, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, that quest that you do with them is pretty interesting. It's not like it's a faction that is joinable. There's a lot of timing required to do that quest properly, so I'm going to throw them into the D category. More or less, it's not like they're a bad faction. They do have a good reward. I just don't really give a crap about this rich family that needs my help. I'm so sorry. Covenant. I love Covenant. I love the location. I love the cool houses. I love the fact that there's Deezer's Lemonade, and that element of it all is very interesting to me and appealing, but I don't care. No, I care. I like the connection to the Institute and all that, but it's, again, a faction that isn't super duper interesting, although it is cool they brought back the goat test, the test from Fallout 3. They called it something else, but, well, we'll do a sneaky little throwback on Bethesda's point. Not sneak at all. It was very over the head, but I'm going to put him in C because the goat. Gotta give it to him. Okay, so this is the Triggermen. I love me a good faction with a uniform dress code, which the Triggermen often seem to have. They kind of wear suits and use Tommy guns, and of course, this is the quest surrounding them is to get Nick Valentine. Because of their outfits and their Tommy guns, I'm going to put them up in the B category. Also, they're Italians, like me. So, I'm going to put them in C. Yeah. I like them, but they're not really that much of a heavy faction. Forged is similar in that they aren't super important of a faction. It's kind of a settlement quest that gets you to go to the Forge, unless you just go to the Forge on your own. There's a lot of enemies to fight, and they're relatively well organized for raiders, which is basically what they are. They're a brand of raider. However, can't join them. They're only in one location, really. So I'm going to plop them babies down into the D category. I think it's kind of, you're a very minor faction if you're only in one spot and don't have any prevalence across the wasteland. Okay, so this is not to be confused with the Triggerman. This is the Neighborhood Watch in Good Neighbor. Hancock's guys. They're there. They're security. They're not that interesting. They are not like Diamond City security, which are hilarious Bostonians who are constantly making comments at you and are consistently paranoid about every member of their family being a synth, which I find hilarious. Their girlfriend did something weird. Their mom put the toilet paper on roll backwards, whatever. I love it. I love that element of them. I love their paranoia, and I think they are adorable, and I love them. I love them. And I love every bit of them. They're so sweet and cute. And God, the Boston accent and how silly they are. But they're going in the B category. I don't care what you say. Can I even remember this faction? No. Do I remember the location they're at because it's a pretty famous music venue and performance venue in Boston? Yes, I can remember that. However, the faction themselves, they left literally no impression on me, to the point where I looked up what their name was before I started shooting this video, and I have already forgotten again, so back to the wiki. I know they're at the bottom. Pillars of the community. Yeah, I don't care. Sorry. I vaguely remember their quest, but I don't find it to be that interesting, clearly, because I've literally completely forgotten about it. Public Occurrences is just like Piper's faction. I guess just her and her sister, Nat. I don't care particularly for Piper's faction. I'm sorry. I guess you do a good newspaper, but we're throwing you an E. Sorry, Pipes. Piper lets me lay pipe, but I'm not gonna give her. I'm not gonna give her a good rating. I'm sorry, Piper. Okay. Let's just do the basic Raiders. This is the basic Raiders logo of Fallout 4. I am a fan more. I'm more partial to Fallout 3 Raiders than Fallout 4. I like the Fallout 3 Raiders seem to like do a lot of graffiti in their areas. That's like a lot of like abstract art of mushroom clouds. There's something appealing about that to me, and it might just because I have an unhealthy obsession with mushroom clouds. I like mushroom clouds. I think they're cool. But you know, they're prevalent throughout the wasteland, and if you are sneaking near them and you're idle and they're allowed to talk for a bit, they have some pretty funny dialogue and interaction, which you only get if you're like hidden but near them for a bit. And Raiders are dumb, and it's very funny, and that is why they are on par with Diamond City Security. They have equally silly, idle conversations, and you know, they are everywhere in the wasteland, which good for them. They're clearly doing something right, and we're ignoring the Raiders of Nuka World, okay? This is just base game right now. Okay, moving on up, we have Children of Adam. Yeah, Children of Adam, not Followers of the Apocalypse. Those get confused in my addled brain right now. Help. Tell the pharmacy to refill my prescription, please. I'm suffering. I just have a headache. I like the Children of the Atom. I love me a faction with a uniform look and weapon combo, which they definitely have with their radiation-themed weapons and things like that. And they also have a look. Their look sucks. It's just rags. It's not very interesting. But they are a major plot point in a DLC. I know we said we're ignoring DLC, but you gotta give them credit for that a little bit. And they are pretty prevalent throughout the Commonwealth, which I think is going to rank them into the B category as well. Just if you're a prevalent faction and you're doing well in that way, you definitely are doing something right, and you get ranked up in my opinion. Also, they're incredibly difficult to fight, especially early on in the game, which, you know, they deserve some credit for that one. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move into the Gunners. These are the Mercs of the Wasteland. I prefer the Mercs of Fallout 3 as opposed to the Gunners. However, I will say that the Gunners are incredibly organized and prevalent throughout the Wasteland. I just don't find them to be particularly interesting as a faction. However, due to their prevalence and uniformity of their look, I guess I'll put them in the C category. I would rank them up to B, but I just think that they're kind of nondescript, and I prefer like the Merc faction's relationship to like Riley's Rangers in Fallout 3 as opposed to their faction quests. Kind of boring. Anyway. Just, again, not much of an impression is made other than the fact that they're a bit more organized than Raiders. They're just boring. Raiders are at least interesting and funny to listen to. Okay, so moving on to Adam's Katz. Of course, the greaser game of Fallout 4. They're a great faction. I think they're incredibly interesting as a faction, and they are just... There's so much potential that was wasted on these. I could do a whole video on the fact that, you know, Adam Katz had quests. They seemed like they were queuing up and then nothing happened. There's also stuff in the game files of Fallout 4 that indicate that yes, more was to be done with the Adam Cats, but not a lot else was done with them, unfortunately. I will say that they are they got some drippy power armor, and they are interesting as a greaser faction. However, they aren't as fleshed out as our other greaser factions that we've seen in other Fallout games. The Tunnel Snakes, obviously, I'm a fan of. I wonder why. I don't know how you would think I'm a fan of Tunnel Snakes. Me, of all people. Anyway, I also don't think they're as fleshed out as the Kings. It's hard not to compare. It's hard because I have an inclination to compare them to factions of other games, and this ranking is more about comparing to factions within Fallout 4. But there is stuff even within Fallout 4 where they're limited. They do have a cool location. They do have cool outfits, but their scope of what this faction can offer you is relatively limited with base game items. Obviously, more stuff can be added after the fact through mods, Creation Club, whatever, but base game, they just felt lacking overall. So I'm going to throw them into the C category. I know this is going to upset some people, but guys, more could have been done and should have been done with them. I just think they ran out of time. Okay, so now we're getting into the major 4 factions of Fallout 4. I'm going to start with the Railroad. I'm going to be real with you. The Railroad is not the faction that I align with in Fallout 4. I do tend to align with the Institute or the Brotherhood of Steel, and I know that there are some morality issues with each and every faction in Fallout 4, I guess, besides the Minutemen. The thing about the Minutemen is, we'll get to it, But with the Railroad, I just find the faction to be incredibly small. I hate how many load screens you have to go through to get to their freaking location. It's kind of annoying. I don't particularly like Desdemona as a leader of a faction. I also think that the fact that they just want to completely annihilate the Institute, despite the fact that there's women and children inside of it, I just don't fully agree with their strategies in the Wasteland, and I kind of put them in a lower level than probably most fans would expect me to put them in, because they are so universally well liked. Anytime someone comments, my Geiger counter's in the shop on one of my videos or posts wherever I'm posting, I'm like, yeah. Mine's not, because I'm not siding with them. I did like the Railroad, the other version of the Railroad that we had in Fallout 3. I would have liked more of that as opposed to what we got in this game. And I'm not a huge fan of Desdemona. Or Deacon, to be honest with you. I think he's funny, but I disliked how much Deacon lied throughout the game. God, don't at me. And, a lot of people think Deacon's a synth, but if you travel with him long enough, he will reveal, no, he's human. Anyway, he could be lying about that too. All those reasons I'm putting it in C. Please don't get mad at me. It's my opinion, okay? Jesus. Okay. Next up, we have the Minutemen. The Minutemen, the faction that you have to do literally everything for. Everything. All of it. It's me. I'm doing everything for this faction. Although I will say I do like Preston Garvey. I think he's annoying to have as a companion because he's constantly giving you side quests, which are mostly dungeon or fetch me quests, and it's annoying. Oh, God. I'm giving myself a headache thinking about it. But, the faction would not exist without the sole survivor, and for that reason, they're going in the D category. Don't at me, I swear. All right, now we're going into Brotherhood of Steel. I think there is some stuff with Fallout 4 where it is, in my opinion, an incomplete game, and there is a lot of stuff missing from the game or that was left on the cutting room floor. There could be an entirely deep dive done on everything left on the cutting room floor in Fallout 4, and I guess that's something I could do when my brain function returns to at least 80%. This is not there. This is like 55, guys. I work from home, and I had nothing to do today. And I still asked for the rest of the day off because I just wanted to lie down and eat figs and play Zelda and also make this video. Anyway, so the Brotherhood of Steel, I think it has a void in power. I know, they have Maxon. However, there was a quest that was cut from the game which would have helped lobby you to be the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, and if I had been the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, they would have been a far better faction and a lot less, like having NAZI leanings. You catch my drift? Can I say that on YouTube? Probably not. But, they would have had less Macklemore haircut leader and more, like, rational thought process. However, they are not I'm not agreeing with their ideology, guys. I don't agree. I like ghouls. I like super mutants. I love me some Nick Valentine in my life. I even love X688. Don't get mad at me. But you got to give it to them. They are shockingly well organized. They have an airship, which, it's a target, obviously. It's very cool, though. The reveal in the game is very cool. They have absolutely amazing, structured, leadership. That's really cool. They got a lot going for them. They have a lot going for them. Their ideology is the iffy part. However, they are incredibly well organized. They got that armor. They got the vehicles. They have the vertebrates. They have so much that is so good for them. And they brought back one of my favorite characters from Fallout 3. Do you know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to say? It's not Dr. Lee. Sorry, Dr. Lee. It's Liberty Prime. Liberty Prime. The dude throws nukes in this game. He throws the nukes. How can you not love it? How can the gameplay, it's so good with them. It's so much fun. They pick you up in vertebrates. They fly around. Good times. They're going in the A, guys. I know. Their politics are bad. However, great faction. Super fun to play with. Super fun playthrough. That was my first playthrough of Fallout 4, also because they had Dr. Lee, and I wanted to keep her alive because I love Dr. Lee from Fallout 3, and it was cool to see her character coming back. All right, next up, the Institute. This is my favorite faction of Fallout 4. I know. Controversial. Giving up. This faction is actually pretty decent. They have really great health care. Something I could use right now. That would be excellent. Can I have better health care? Can I have what the Institute gets? Although, father did die of cancer. Yeah. So, I do think their resources are incredibly deep, literally. They're underground. But they have a lot going for them in that they have all these resources. They have uniform drip about them. They have a lot of members. They have, obviously, advanced technology. They have a quasi NAZI leader a little bit. Maybe not fully NAZI, but, maybe a little bit, shady in other ways, in very controlling ways. Not quite as bad as the Brotherhood of Steel. However, they are a pretty good faction for what they are. And the fact that you, as the sole survivor, does take over as their leader, if you choose to side with them, makes me think that I would run it in a different direction. I personally, my headcanon is, if I was running the Institute, I would do away with all Gen 3 synth production, because they are basically human at that point, or they have human intelligence and therefore have a soul. I don't know. We could get into the whole logic of the Turing test, all of that, but I would just stick with Gen 2 and lower, the ones that are clearly still robots, and use them as robots. We don't want to go all iRobot with it all. I love the tech. I like the fact that they're underground. I love how clean their settlement is. I love how you can teleport. That's pretty dang cool. The teleportation is pretty freaking cool. Just everything about that faction is fascinating to me, super well organized, and in my opinion, one of the better choices for the Wasteland. If you remember that you are now the leader of this faction, it's a win. Father does, either way, die. So I gotta put him up here. I know my takes are gonna be controversial, guys. I know it. But these are opinions, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they stink. So let me know what you think in the comments. Say a little fingers crossed prayer, whatever you do in your own personal beliefs, that I get my medication soon, because I feel like poo-poo. I will be at the Bethesda showcase on Sunday. Hoping I'll be feeling 100% then, but I will be there, rain or shine, in my mind and in reality. Oh God, I gotta end this video. Anyway, I love y'all. Have a good one. Stay safe in the Wasteland. Don't forget to do all the things, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully I regain my sanity.